Hello there, folks. If you've been waiting for a break in those skyrocketing consumer prices, I've got some news for you, and it might not be what you want to hear. It looks like 2025 isn't going to bring any relief. In fact, we're seeing costs for essential goods and services hit record highs. The National Retail Federation just dropped a report that's got everyone talking. Prices are expected to soar even higher in the coming months. Now, while inflation has cooled down a bit from the chaos of the last couple of years, our wallets are still feeling the heat. The annual inflation rate, it's at 2.7%, just a tad above the Fed's target of 2%. But don't be fooled. Our buying power isn't snapping back to those pre-pandemic levels. Instead, we're staring down the barrel of price hikes in almost every category, and these increases are steeper than anything we've faced in the past 4 years. And guess what? Some of these tariffs coming down the pipeline could jack up prices by up to 60% on everyday items. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what's going to hit your budget the hardest. You know that morning cup of joe that gets you started? Well, brace yourself because coffee is about to become a luxury for many. Thanks to a severe drought in Brazil, which, let me remind you, is the world's largest coffee producer, we've seen significant crop losses. This disaster has pushed the prices of Arabica beans, those are the ones grown in Central and South America, to unprecedented heights. And it's not just the weather playing spoilsport here. A surge in global demand and those pesky rising shipping costs are making sure that your daily caffeine fix will cost you a pretty penny. Moving on to something that hits closer to home, literally. Home insurance is becoming a real pain point. For the 4th year running, rates are climbing, and guess who's bearing the brunt? Homeowners in disaster-prone areas, especially in places like California. The numbers speak for themselves. Back in the first half of 2023, you might have shelled out around $1,861 for a new policy. Fast forward to today, and that number's jumped to a whopping $2,458. That's nearly a 50% increase from before COVID-19 turned our lives upside down. Many American families are going to find themselves in a tough spot, unable to afford these soaring costs, leaving them exposed to the whims of Mother Nature. And if you think that's where the bad news ends, think again. Let's talk appliances. Stoves, fridges, washing machines, and even your handy portable grills and juicers. If you're planning to upgrade or replace your worn-out machines, you might want to hurry up. Most of these appliances are made or assembled far from our shores, and thanks to some hefty new tariffs, we're looking at an extra $6.4 billion to $10.9 billion being tacked onto what Americans will need to cough up. Jonathan Gold from the National Retail Federation lays it out clear as day. These tariffs are no joke, and they're going to make it pricier to keep your home running smoothly. All right, let's keep this train moving and talk about a few more items that are going to hit your wallet hard. And let me tell you, the news isn't getting any better. Now, if you're like me and you love your guac, or you can't start your day without that slice of avocado toast, you better brace yourself. Avocados are about to become a luxury item. Why, you ask? Well, about 90% of the avocados we enjoy here in the States come from our neighbor down south, Mexico. Thanks to its perfect, warm, humid climate, they've been supplying us with top-notch avocados for years. But here's the kicker. Supplies are dwindling, and they're about to get even scarcer at your local grocery store. You're going to see some serious price hikes, so maybe start thinking about savoring every bite of that guac, because it's going to cost you a pretty penny. Now, shifting gears to something a bit bigger, cars and auto parts. Thinking of getting a new ride or maybe fixing up the old family wagon? You might want to get on that pronto. Thanks to some new trade policies with Mexico and Canada, prices for new cars, and even the bits and bobs that keep them running, are expected to skyrocket. More than half of the auto parts we use are imported from these countries. So if there's a repair you've been putting off, don't wait any longer. It's only going to get more expensive from here on out, potentially adding hundreds to your maintenance bills. Travel plans in the works? Well, listen up. Booking your flights sooner rather than later is the way to go this year. A whole slew of airlines have already announced price increases starting this spring. And it's not just the usual suspects like jet fuel causing the surge. No, sir. We're talking about airlines grappling with financial troubles, cutting down on flights, and struggling to keep costs down amidst labor disputes and pilot shortages. The folks over at American Express are saying flight prices could jump by as much as 15%. So if you're looking to fly, lock in those tickets fast. Hungry for more? Well, how about this? Dining out is going to take a bigger bite out of your budget, too. Restaurants are facing their own set of challenges: food shortages, rising costs, you name it. The USDA is forecasting that restaurant prices will climb by 3.5% every quarter this year. What does that mean for you and me? Fewer freebies and less special deals when we go out to eat. So maybe it's time to dust off those cookbooks and fire up the grill at home. And finally, let's talk about shoes. Yes, even footwear isn't immune to these crazy price hikes. Planning to stick to your budget? You might have to consider snagging a pair of secondhand kicks. With most shoes being made overseas, particularly in Asia, the new tariffs are making them ridiculously expensive, up to 60% more. If your sneakers are still in good shape, maybe hold off on replacing them because the cost is only going up. And we're not done yet, folks. Let's keep rolling and dive into a few more items that are tightening the noose around our budgets. Starting with our beloved alcoholic beverages, get ready to pay more for that Friday night buzz. We're talking beers like Modelo and Corona, plus your favorite tequilas and whiskeys from Tennessee and Canada. The prices? They're heading north. American importers are now dealing with higher taxes, and they're not swallowing these costs. They're passing them right on to us, the consumers. This might even lead to shortages on the shelves. It's not just bad luck, folks. It's bad policy. Since the 90s, these drinks have largely dodged tariffs, but with new trade policies kicking in, industry bigwigs from the US, Canada, and Mexico are sounding the alarm. They're warning that these changes could drive hundreds of companies right out of business. And because certain drinks can only be made in their home countries, they've got a unique flair you can't replicate elsewhere. Moving production isn't an option, so we're stuck paying more, and it's going to hurt. Next up, let's talk about furniture. How's your living room looking? That sofa comfy enough? Or is that dining table wobbling a bit more these days? If your home setup is starting to show its age, you might want to think about grabbing some new pieces sooner rather than later. With import taxes on the rise, furniture prices are expected to jump significantly. We're talking about an extra $8.5 billion to $13.1 billion more than last year. That's a tough pill to swallow. So the best strategy? Get ahead of these hikes. Start shopping around now before these prices climb even higher. Now, if you're thinking about sprucing up your place, be prepared for another hit. Home renovations. Everything from lumber to other building materials is about to get pricier, climbing another 10% to 15% this summer. Thanks to booming housing demand and those ever-annoying supply chain issues, renovating your home is going to cost a pretty penny. Industry experts are advising homeowners to act fast. Start those conversations with contractors now and lock in prices before they surge again. Trust me, this is one area where waiting could really cost you. And for those of you who enjoy a splash of maple syrup on your pancakes or waffles, brace yourselves. The price of this sweet treat is on the rise too. Canada, which produces a whopping 75% of the global supply, mostly in Quebec, is seeing costs go up. And it's not just the syrup that's affected. If anything you buy is made in the US but uses Canadian ingredients, expect to pay more. That's the word from the experts, and it's not sweet news. Folks, from your drinks to your dining tables and even your home renovations and breakfast favorites, everything's getting more expensive. It's clear we're in for a rough ride with these price hikes. So, what do you think about all this? Are you feeling the pinch yet? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments below. And rounding out our look at the increasing costs, let's talk about a few more items that are crucial to everyday life, and they're all about to get pricier. First off, fuel prices. Folks, buckle up because we're in for a bumpy ride at the gas pumps. Here's the scoop. Canada is our biggest supplier of crude oil. 61% of our oil came from there last year. Even though we're not short on oil here in the US, our refineries are built to handle the thick stuff that mostly comes from our neighbors up north and from Mexico. These types of crude are essential for producing everything from gasoline to jet fuel with maximum efficiency. But here's where it gets sticky. If Canada reacts to the new U.S. trade policies by cutting back their oil exports to us, we could see fuel prices skyrocket overnight. Analysts from the American fuel petrochemical manufacturer are warning that this could lead to some serious supply issues at your local gas stations. Moving on to something a bit lighter but no less important, video games and toys. Parents and gamers, listen up. Popular consoles like PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo, as well as many toys imported from China, are set to see major price hikes, potentially doubling by the 2025 holiday season. With tariffs hitting these goods hard, you can expect these items to become much more expensive. Plus, there's a trend of people buying up these in-demand products to resell them online for a profit, which could make it even harder to find deals. So keep your eyes peeled and grab those bargains while you can. And for those of you who unwind with a bit of television, streaming services are about to hit your wallet harder too. We're seeing price increases across the board. YouTube TV's monthly rate is jumping up about $10 to $82.99. Netflix is also hiking its prices by up to 15%. Even the cheapest ad-free plan is going from $15.50 to $18. And their premium tier is going up to $25 from $22.99. Other services like Discovery Plus, AMC Plus, and Fubo are following suit. It's a trend that's causing quite a bit of frustration among subscribers who are already feeling the pinch elsewhere. So, there you have it. Everything from fuel for your car to fuel for your streaming binges is getting more expensive. The key takeaway here? It's time to shop smartly. Take a hard look at your household needs and start budgeting for these increases. Remember, lower inflation numbers on the books don't mean much when prices are soaring in real life, causing panic buying and empty shelves. So what do you make of all this? Drop us a comment below. We'd love to hear how you're handling these challenges. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all the latest. Thanks for watching, and remember, we're all in this together. Let's keep pushing to get our economy out of this rut.